Feels good, eh? Get it at any participating Caltex.
This isn't about printing. It's about better results with over 90 offices right across the country in residential, commercial and rural.
Kena tangata whenua ana manihiri ko tai mai nei hi tēnei rā. No mai piki mai, tēnā koutou, tēnā koutou, tēnā koutou. To everyone gathered here today, a very warm welcome back to Owen Delany Park in beautiful Taupo, Aotearoa, New Zealand, for another round of the New Zealand Ultimate Secondary Schools Championships. This afternoon, we have Selwyn College playing Hutt Valley in the Open Division. Cormac Stevenson aho. And I'm joined again this afternoon by Mike Sheridan. Kia ora, Mike.
Kia ora. Whew. Yeah, we're looking forward to this game. Look, I do have a bit of a bias that I have to admit. I have helped coach the Hutt Valley High School team, so I know all of the Hutt Valley High School boys and their background. So I know all their names by sight, and unfortunately I don't know the names of the Selwyn boys, but I will attempt to call them out as I can as well. Just been down on the ground myself, just a little bit breathless from the last game. The wind has dropped a little bit, so it's less than it was before, probably 20k still from right to left. I'm not sure about the experience of the Selwyn College boys. I think this is the first time that they have competed here. The Hutt Valley High School boys, of course, Facebook reminded me that this is their 10th time at Nationals.
Well, so they must have every year.
I think the first year, I think there was 1 year we didn't come, maybe. First, or was that the first? I'm not sure.
2014 was the first year, I believe. I was checking it before because I was here with the team in 2014 myself. So that's this
okay.
Is
maybe we
year.
have been to every tourney. Okay, all right, yep. All right, I'll take that back. We have been, Hutt Valley High School have been to every tourney. So this year, I can give you lots of information, as I said, about Hutt Valley High School. We have 4 returning players, maybe 5 returning players, and a whole heap of new players as well that are returning, that aren't returning. That's all good. Facing Selwyn. So Selwyn in the red and black, and Hutt Valley High School in the white.
Now, Mike, last year, I think finished second.
Yes, the Hutt Valley High School boys lost the final, so they were second last year. Unfortunately, they've lost 5 of the Year 13s that have graduated.
Yeah.
We're lucky enough in the Hutt Valley High School team that we've got 3 returning ex-players or alumni that are helping out with the coaching. That's Ollie, Natan and Aidan. And I think the Selwyn boys are coached by none other than Ian, who is the
Ian Stewart,
Mr. NZ Ultimate.
One of the 16 jobs that he's got
here.
Yes. CEO of New Zealand Ultimate, coach extraordinaire, mainly organised this tournament pretty much single-handedly, and mostly about 5 other jobs.
Yep.
But also last year, Hutt Valley were first for Spirit.
Yes. Were we? Okay. I didn't realise that. I couldn't remember that.
12.8.
Okay. Good. So Selwyn have got the disc after pulling the pull from Hutt Valley High, but a quick turnover. So Faisal with the disc, throwing it back to the key handler. Who's that? That is Darren, it looks like. Yep, Darren Leishman, key handler. Just a set of twins on the team today, but turnover close to the back of the end zone. Throwing it a bit high.
Mike, this is the first time that they'll be playing in this direction. All the other fields lie in another direction, so they've been playing with the crosswind. Will that make a difference?
Yes, that'll make a huge difference.
And it may take them a wee while to adjust.
I think it will. So you're right, crosswinds all day with the other games, and this is the first upwind, downwind game. Yes, it's a different strategy, absolutely. Getting your head around it. The downwind team has a huge advantage. You've seen in previous games, not many teams have been managing to score upwind. So you've seen there Selwyn perhaps playing for territory, as I've said in previous games.
Oh.
Didn't quite have the legs for that, or the disc just didn't quite hold up enough. As you can see, Hutt Valley High School bring out a little bit of a zone there. Just a 2-2-1 zone, so there's two people on the disc. You can see them there trying to surround the disc. And successful on that particular point, managing to turn it over.
It's so zone marking an area rather than a man.
Yes.
Harder to coach? Harder for kids to pick up?
Yes, absolutely. You won't see it with beginner teams using that strategy very often. So you usually only see it with players that have been playing 2 or 3 years once they can understand the positions and on the field. So
it's the first one we've seen today.
Oh, is it?
Yep.
Okay.
Everyone's been playing match-up man.
Right. So the Hutt Valley High School boys, or perhaps Hutt Valley High School, we are renowned for doing some zones. And 5, I think we've got 5 returning players in a squad of 10. And those 5 we have trained a little bit with that zone. Up in the air there, we'll see who comes down with that. Very good competition. Darren Leishman coming down with the disc, number 7. So Darren's the captain of the Hutt Valley High School team. So that was an important start for Hutt Valley High School into the wind. You can see quite a competition with 6 players underneath the disc there. Wasn't necessarily, well, Darren was the tallest there, but it was timing in the end. You could see there were several attempts on the disc thrown by Ori Hoskin. So one lot of players going up. Oh, it held up there, and it was the second lot of players that went up that actually got pulled down with the disc.
Now, when we see players jump, I mean, I find it incredibly hard. If you're under a disc to read how high it is, it's much easier if you're catching a basketball or a tennis ball. You see it coming in, you know the angle, but that disc, you don't know how it's floating if you're straight underneath it. So it's not necessarily players mistime their jump, but sometimes it's actually good to jump early if it's going to take your defender up with you.
Absolutely, yes, Mark. That's a very good point. It's hugely different from ball sports, where you can predict what the ball's going to do. With a disc, it's all about the wind and the disc movement, how much spin is on it and what angle it's released at and so on. So you're going to get quite a different sort of float on the disc if you're throwing it upwind as opposed to downwind. And sudden gusts of wind can come along and alter the flight of it as well, which changes things. So yes, you can get different strategies in the air, boxing people out to stop them jumping at the disc. It's important that you actually get a number of people down there competing in the air. So we've had a turnover on the disc, and there's another turnover as well. Wasn't able to hold on to that disc in the end zone. Selwyn back with the disc. That's number 13. That's Jamie Krask. Back to Jamie. Oh, that was a nice pass upwind, but one of the twins, I think that's Ben Cobra, managed to sort of pull that down. That was a nice take. And I think that's a goal from Hutt Valley High School. So number 6, Sahab Mohammed, a brand new player this year. very good football player for Hutt Valley High School. Brand new to Ultimate this year. Doesn't necessarily have, as you'd expect with new players, doesn't necessarily have all the throws, but just sort of look at that catch. Huge athletic ability, being able to read the disc and pull the disc down from all sorts of positions. Quite a skillful sort of effort from Sahab. Yes, good players, of course, do make it look easy when you're watching good players, both with the throwing and catching, and spectators will think, "Oh, that's so easy. I can get out and do that." In fact, it requires a huge amount of skill. The timing of the catching, the timing of the throwing is all important. How much spin, how much curve you're putting on it, and so on.
And throw into that, you've got a defensive player in your face trying to force you into a marmo, normally onto your forehand, which is normally a weaker throw. You've got defensive players on all your receivers. You've got wind, and you've got a defensive defender giving you a stall count to 10.
Yes, that's correct. So
if you want pressure, give them a disc.
Yeah. So you can see the Hutt Valley High School team again there trying to force the zone. Selwyn have beautifully broken it, but Hutt Valley High School trying to bring it back again. Passed a little bit rushed there towards the end, forcing the turnover. So it's back to Hutt Valley High School again. Darren Leishman, the key handler at the back. Up to Ori Hoskin with the disc, looking round to see what's open to him. Trying to pivot both ways. Important thing with new players. Nicely pulled down by Darren Leishman. You can see Selwyn very much with a straight up defence, it looks like. Nice little footwork there to try and block that from Leishman putting that disc away. Leishman managed to get it away anyway. Beautiful read by, I think that's Harry Kubra, one of the twins. And Darren Leishman pulling the disc down in the end zone in the end. So another upwind point rain on the back of that very good catch by Harry, I think it was, and Darren towing that in. So long as your foot is in when you catch the disc, you can see Darren doing some clever footwork here. 1 foot in, grounding it in, and then running out. So as long as that foot, when you ground the disc, when you catch the disc, is in, that's okay. You can continue to run out. The line, of course, is out. For those of you that don't know, that the field that we play on in schools, nationals, is 50 metres from end zone to end zone. The end zone itself is 10 metres long, and the width of the field is 25 metres. It's a lot of field for 5 players to be trying to cover and run around in. So the signal at the start of the point is, you saw there with the Hutt Valley High School team member with his hand in the air saying, "I'm ready." Waiting for the team from Selwyn, the Selwyn team of signal, "Yes, we're ready." So the pull can go down.
Oh, a nice kume. Will it stay in?
Just went out the back a bit.
It was quite a...
So when
hard to see from this angle.
Yes, it's very hard to see from over here. So when the disc does go out in the full like that, it's taken back to the brick mark, which is the X in the middle of the field, which is 10 metres up from the start of the end zone. You can see that zone look again from Hutt Valley High School. So there's 2 people on the disc, forcing it across to the other sideline. 2 wings on either side and 1 right at the back covering that deep throw. Very effective strategy, especially when the opposition is trying to throw into the wind. So number 6 there is trying to prevent any throws coming towards the camera. Number 23 is poaching. And what you're trying to do with that zone is force the team to put up those high throws like that. And the high throws can become 50-50 like that. So you're relying on the other team to make some poor throws and put it up 50-50. And then, of course, what happens when you're throwing with the wind is you'll put it down very, very quickly to put pressure, play for territory. That's a lovely throw, not quite long enough, but it was a good option to take, trying to put it back down to the other end. Nice turnover there by Selwyn. Number 11, Atticus Iti with the disc. And Jamie Krask. But a run through D there by Ben Cobra from Hutt Valley High School. I think that's Dylan Figalo with the disc now. Nice catch by Mohammed. Centering the disc. Back for Hutt Valley High School. But lovely intercept by Jamie Krask again. He seems to be getting a few mentions. Dylan with the disc again, trying to pick it up. Still on attack, close to the end zone. Not quite hitting the mark though from the Hutt Valley High School teammate who was trying to run into the corner there. So picked up by Hamish McCarthy from Selwyn. Just ready to play. Hutt Valley High School still playing that zone. The thing with the zone is those two people, number 6 and number 23 there with their backs to us, they have to work their little hearts out. They've got to move from one player to the next. The other 3 downfield, they get a bit of a rest. But those two numbers there, they have to play their little hearts. And that was a good hammer throw into the wind. That hammer throw, very difficult to make into the wind. That's an upside down throw over your head. Takes a bit of skill to do that. So that was very impressive from the Selwyn team member. Nicely pulled down by, I think that's Ben Cobra. There's a set of twins in the Hutt Valley High School team. I have been coaching them for 3 or 4 years. I can't tell them apart. Apart from Ben is wearing blue boots. So B for Ben with blue boots.
It all helps. So Hutt Valley go to far. Kemua Ma te wha, leading by 4.
Looks like...
called a timeout?
Yes, I think Ian Stewart has called a timeout for Selwyn. Just settling the team down a bit, trying to work out what the strategies they can play against this more experienced Hutt Valley High team. Hutt Valley High team drilled there by Ollie Swanson. Coached by him. Ollie was at Hutt Valley High School 3 years ago, I think. And there's Ian Stewart, who's the Mr. Ultimate New Zealand do everything.
Yeah, I lived and breathed it for many years.
He has done a superb job leading New Zealand Ultimate, wearing many, many hats. And today's hat is coaching the Selwyn boys.
Mind you, with news yesterday that the tournament director couldn't make it after being an injury in last weekend's champs didn't phase him. Big thanks to Anna Crosby for stepping into that role. Yes.
Yeah, I hope you're doing well there, Riley. Sitting in your seat. I know you love the commentary, so I hope you're doing well back there in Wellington after that concussion.
Yeah, kia kaha, Riley.
Yeah. Very important that players do look after themselves out of concussions. As I've said previously, Ultimate is a non-contact sport and we need to avoid contact. Occasionally you do get some contact, which is incidental usually, or contact with the ground, or someone's shoulders are running through. And I think that's what happened to Riley last week. But yes, it is. We do drill our players, especially at this young level, to avoid contact if at all possible. So you shouldn't be putting yourself or the opposition player in a dangerous position where you're likely to collide. So the wind has died down a little bit. So conditions are slightly more conducive to playing ultimate than they were earlier in the day. Probably down to under 20 Ks now. With the Selwyn team looking to receive, and the Selwyn team looking to take advantage of any wind that is there.
I think that Kume's gone out.
Yeah.
So it'll be their choice as to whether they take it from where it's crossed the line or they take it at the brick mark.
Yes, that's correct.
The blue X just at the feet of number 2 on the right-hand side of the screen.
Yep.
They'll take it from the brick.
So let's see what Hutt Valley High School's defence is. Oh, well, look at that again. It's a zone again, a 2-2-1. So there's 2 people on the disc. There's 2 people sitting behind that, and 1 right at the back to prevent the long throw. That was the right throw for Selwyn to make right through the middle. That's the way to break the zone. So Darren Leishman now with the disc at the back, looking to control the play. Number 15, who was that? Ryan Caffrey.
Nice bid.
Rian Caffrey.
Nice bid.
Yeah, great bid. Nearly pulling that down. Hutt Valley High on the looking to score close to the end zone. But Ryan looking to... that disc was thrown a little bit hard into that wind. So some good work from number 12 there, Hamish McCarty, to gather in that disc. And lovely disc through the middle, but run through D from Darren Leishman managed to sort of clean it up for Hutt Valley High again. So that's the role of that person at the end. So you'll see him running to the back again, looking for those long throws, setting up the
You'll notice
zone
one
again.
of the defenders standing slightly further back, because we can't double team a player,
No,
can we?
no,
Is
we
it
can't.
3 metres?
It's 3 metres, yes. So you'll notice when they're on the disc. Great score by
nice.
great
Selwyn.
patience from Selwyn. Number 13, Jamie Crass, scoring after a throw from, not sure who threw that one. We'll might see that on the highlights. So that brings it to 4-1. Good score from Selwyn.
That'll give him a little bit of confidence.
That will. So that's number 6. I think that's Liam Van Dalen putting that disc down there. Nice throw, Liam. Just quiet. There was nothing starry about it, but often that's what scores the points actually in Ultimate, is not the long, huge, good-looking throws, but just the quiet throws that are making 5 metres here, 10 metres there. And you can see an easy point in the end for Selwyn, just from those very good controlled throws. So 4-1, a good goal downwind by Selwyn. So it's the first of 15, or when we get to 50 minutes, a time cap hooter goes, and we'll talk about that if we get that far into the game. Playing the game against the far side there, Ben Kubra. Couldn't quite hang on to the disc there. It was more or less out, but he tried to pull it back in. Didn't quite work out for him though. So Hutt Valley High School pinned the Selwyn team against the sideline. Again, their strategy worked, forcing that high throw, and the 50-50 chances about who was going to come down with it. No one came down with it, so it's a turnover. Number 76, James Bowen, catching the disc. Some very good D from Selwyn there. Liked what Rian Caffrey was doing, blocking his player from getting the disc. Another high throw coming down 50-50. Well, a bit of miscommunication there by Hutt Valley High, the 2 receivers, as to who was going to get that. So it went to ground. So number 13, Jamie Crask, pulling up that disc again. Nice throw down the middle of the field. Almost caught, but nicely defended by Hutt Valley High School. Just getting a hand to it and forcing it to the ground. And the contra is true there. You could see that player running away from us from number 10, Finn Darrow from Selwyn, similarly knocking that disc to the ground. One of the rule differences between schools leagues and other leagues, you just saw Hutt Valley High School doing it there, is you are allowed to substitute during the point. That's a lovely point to Hutt Valley High School. That's Devon Redaway scoring there in the end zone. Nice pass by Ben Cobra. So you are allowed to sub during points, and that's just a rule that was introduced to try and recognise, especially on windy days like today, that some of the points are going to go along for a long time. Enables us to keep the game flowing with fresh legs. It's quite a different. It introduces new nuances to the game that isn't there in the adult league, being able to sub midpoint. And I know as a school we practice that quite a lot, so we try and take advantage of that nuance to put on fresh legs.
Yep.
Or if we're going from offence to defence, we will put on defensive players, or defence to offence. We'll make sure we've got some good offensive players there, and so on.
Considering how essential speed is in terms of cuts, in terms of chasing a defender, in terms of getting free, do you coach for speed? Do you do speed work, or do you just assume with lots of playing it will come?
That's a very good question. I personally, when I'm coaching, I just play with what we've got and select the best players. And you need fast players, yes, but you need good throwers. Need good people that are in the air. You need people with tenacity on defence. So speed is good. Very hard to coach for speed. I try not to worry too much about coaching for that at this young level. We just take what we've got, select the best players, and then work with. We've got some fast players on there, obviously, and some players that are tall, some players that are very good with patience and handling the disc. So it's other players are fit. Other players have great patience. Some players are very clever with what they do. So I think it's important, especially at a youth level, to take advantage of different skill sets. That was a lovely interception. Lovely grab.
Sniper.
Yeah. And made a good 20 metres there, actually. Yeah, but pulled back there. Nice intercept by Luca Mitchell in the air.
Caught that dump back, didn't it?
It did. So it's interesting. Every sport has its jargon. So you use the word dump there. So a throw behind you is usually called a dump. Going out the back. So that throw went out the back of the end zone. So you might hear various bits of jargon that we throw into the commentary. Mark, you're very good at pulling me up on explaining to the viewers about what we mean there.
Oh.
So the zone there with number 10 on the disc, and the other. So that's 10, Luca Mitchell, and number 5, I think, Faisal Abdullah.
Oh, it was a nice catch.
That
came
was.
at speed.
So one of the strategies that Hutt Valley High School does have here, hopefully the opposition teams aren't listening, is that when we have a turnover like that, you'll have the best thrower in the team there picking the disc up and quickly looking for that fast break. So you can see there, number 7 throwing it down there, looking for an open player that's done on that fast break. So Luca Mitchell scoring, picked up by Ori Hoskin, sorry.
Nice.
So you also see, so there's a number of things you see with experienced players. You'll see experienced players looking for that fast break, thinking turnover, I've immediately got to be switching to, if you're a defensive player, you've immediately got to be switching to defence. offensive player, you're looking for those fast breaks.
Yeah. Well, and if there's a tuku, if there's a turnover, you'll see players from some teams run over it. They won't pick it up. And I naturally assume they're leaving it for one of their handlers.
Usually, yes. You don't want to, if you're the first person running over that disc, there's no point you picking it up because you'll have no one to throw the disc to downfield. So if you're the first person there, you should be running over the top of that disc and creating a scoring opportunity and trusting one of the people behind you to pick up the disc and throw it to you.
Because if you touch the disc or even pretend to pick up the disc, you have to throw it, don't you?
Yes, you do. Yes, once you establish a position over the disc, you need to pick it up. So Selwyn, Hamish McCarthy picking that disc up, ready to start again. So Selwyn here will be wanting to get it off that far sideline. Of course, they have nicely. That was a good centering pass to Hamish. Back to... That's the throw that they're looking for, is that throw through the middle. Hutt Valley High School were on to it that time, shutting it down with their zone. Nice turnover by Selwyn.
Nice view, Pakaka. Nice swing.
Nice swing, but Hutt Valley High School will always have someone at the back there ready to catch those long throws. Nice 1-2 movement down the far sideline. Bit of a 50-50 pass there. Not quite brought down.
Now I'm looking at this pressure that Hutt Valley are putting on the handlers, and as you say, that the way to break that is through the middle. But often the pass through the middle is a longer one, and of course with you playing a zone, if you're hanging off your player a little bit, it's quite often where the intercepts come.
That's indeed the position. So those two people on the disc are trying to force those throws. The next two people back are trying to intercept those throws into the middle. Bit scrappy play here from Hutt Valley High School. They need to, hopefully they're listening to or watch this later on tonight. Need to settle it down a bit here and play some more controlled disc when they're looking to score in that red zone. Nice pull down from that 50-50 throw. I think that was Atticus Iti pulling that down. Selwyn looking to sort of move that disc off their own line, further up the...
You hear the chill call coming up. Be cool.
Yeah, that's often the sort of the call from the people on the sideline is just let's be a little bit sort of, let's not rush it, which is a good and a bad call. Some players have the capability to rush it and catch the defence unaware. But you want some players to sort of be in that position with their capability. You want others to perhaps take a bit more time with their throws. So that was a nice put length of the field there. Can we pull it down?
Possibly a little bit
just
over.
Right out the back of the end zone there. It was a nice throw length of the field. You can see the impact that the wind has on the game. Look at that throw there. Nearly a forehand Hutt. Length of the field, just out the back of the end zone. Back to live. Oh, nicely pulled down inbounds there by Liam.
Nice option.
Nice option. Centering out, centre into the middle of the field gives Jamie a few more options as to what he can do. However, Hutt Valley High School, nice throw over to the back and beautifully pulled down.
Yeah, well rewarded.
That was an upwind point for Selwyn, 6-2. That was good control by Selwyn. Let's see who threw it. Number 12 just nicely weighted it over the top of the players. That's Hamish McCarthy. Let's look at that throw again. Bit of a high release. Released it quite high. Hard throw to make. Beautifully brought down by number 11. That's Atticus Iti. Ian, the coach there, will be very happy with that upwind point. generally when you get an upwind point, there's the opportunity there to get 2 points in a row because you're then well placed to sort of go on the attack again on the downwind.
Yes.
So you can see once a team gets scores upwind, you can then see them score immediately downwind as well. But they have to force the turnover as well, of course. So Selwyn now with the disc ready to pull. So hand up from Selwyn, receiving end. Hutt Valley High School saying they're ready to receive. Nicely caught by Hutt Valley High School and getting the first couple of passes, 3 passes away before the defence was down there. Coaches like to measure that, how many passes were got away before the defence got down there. An indication of how well your defence players are working. Nicely grabbed out of the air by, I think that must be Harry Cobra. There's Faisal Abdullah with the disc, nicely centering it back to the playmaker. Luca having a second grab at that, but it was already out. Luca Mitchell. So pushed that disc a long way up the field. They're taken back in again by Selwyn. Nicely centred. So you like to be into the centre of the field. It gives you more options, although the zone look is trying to force the Selwyn guys to throw to the other side of the field. Letting them have nothing over this side is the objective. Having said that, that was a lovely break throw. There was an attempt to throw that through the middle to break the zone. Didn't quite come off this time. So disc back in Hutt Valley High School possession. So interesting to see what they can do now. Oh, just lovely weighted over the top there. Nice defensive positions by Selwyn, making Hutt Valley High School work for those throws. Beautiful one-handed catch. Oh, I mistook the hat there.
Yeah, I thought it.
I mistook the hat or the corner to the corner, not the hat, the corner thing for the disc. Nearly pulled it down.
Got it too.
Yeah, just got a hand to it. Lovely outreach. That was one of the Kubra boys. Didn't quite catch which one. Number 2 with the disc, Ollie Pitts. Bringing that disc in. Just thrown away by Hutt Valley High School. Disc in. So the time clock will be counting down. Player on the mark will be counting to 10 to put pressure on the receiver. Oh, that's a lovely put. Good second bite at the disc. He was off foot. He was trying to catch that running backwards. Very difficult to do to catch a disc running backwards. Nicely centred and caught by Findaro there.
Oh, he's looking for Nakuti. He's looking for Katz. He's looking for.
Bad luck from. Have another look at that running backwards. You can see he's running backwards. Didn't quite catch the disc there. Number 12. That's Harry Kubra.
He's quite close to the side. I think he had a look down.
I think he did.
I'll go with this, but where are my feet? Because he wants to make sure that his first contact's inside the line. It's tough.
It is tough.
That field awareness when you go up.
Yes. You need eyes everywhere.
Yes.
So you saw the number 10 there will be counting out the stall count, be counting to 10, and nicely knocked down by the wing position over there, intercepting that throw through the middle. So you'd have to say the defensive strategy from Hutt Valley High School is working, forcing the turnovers, not converting as often as they'd like. The timing of their cuts.
About 15 minutes left of the soft cap. Hutt Valley are leading 6-2. Oh, Turua.
Yes, and that's Darren at the back there catching that dish. Darren Leishman just popped up in the wind. So you can get an impression of the temperature and the wind chill out there. If you look at the spectators have got, I know from experience, I have 5 layers on when I was out there. They've got puffer jackets on, they've got hats, they've got jerseys on underneath the puffer jackets. It looks sunny, it looks beautiful out there, but it's actually very, very cold. The wind chill, look, I don't know what it would be, the wind chill, but it's jolly cold out there.
It certainly felt a lot colder. I think it had this morning had 9 degrees, but with the wind chill, about minus 20, I think, in the end.
Yes.
But most probably about 3 or 4, to be honest.
I think that was nicely pulled in there by Harry Kubera. Let's just have a look at that. Must have just caught that in the end zone. A throw from Ori Hoskin. Let's just look at these legs. Yeah. So he was careful to drag that back foot. Make sure it stayed on the ground. Watch him drag that, staying on the ground. Caught the disc and then fell out. So that's a goal. Watch that again. Nice footwork with that back foot. Foot is down. Caught the disc and then fell out. So that's the secret with being aware of where the sidelines are, is to be aware of where the sidelines are and play your feet accordingly. The other handler in the Hutt Valley High team there, James Bowen, getting ready to throw the disc off. I think, what's the exact time? I think you've got 60 seconds between the between points to you can change your players. That's the usual time when we change players, is between points. You have 60 seconds to put your new team on. Maybe you'll have a bit of a strategy chat. Coaches might come on and say, oh, we should be doing this, that or the other. And then the signal that we're ready with the hands up.
Some teams have specialist O-lines and D-lines for offence and defence.
Yes. Like I was always a defensive player, so I like defence. So the job of the offensive line is just keep possession and score. Simple. Throwing good passes, catches and score. Defence, you won't win the game unless you force the turnover and get the disc and turn it over. So defence, in my view, is where it's at. Having defensive strategies, so generally we're putting on faster players on defence, players that have got good field awareness.
And a willingness to hustle.
Oh, yeah. You've got to be energetic on defence. Hustle is right. Ben Kubera with the disc. Looking to get it off that line, I'd suggest. There we go. Nicely centred out to Sahab Mohammed. And nicely put into the end zone. Nice throw down to Ben Kubera. I think that was...
Nice Mamua down the side.
Yeah, it was. Who threw that? I think that was James Bowen threw that. Nice play down the sideline.
Now this will give us a better angle because it wasn't quite a straight. It was out on an angle which had it curved around, came out, and then came back in.
Yeah, good point. So the release of the disc, you can if you release it flat, it'll fly flat. You can see there that James released that disc at an angle. And that meant that the disc did curve around. I think that's half time, 8-2.
Done. We'll have a break and we'll be back with you shortly. Ka kite.
Yes. Okay. Yeah.
this isn't about long-distance calling, technology, or living overseas.
Do I have one more bid? Thank you.
We're going to go once. We're going twice.
And we are sold to the Kiwi phone bidder from Manchester.
It's about Bailey's finding buyers that others can't.
No time to fluff around today? No worries. Just swing into Caltex and pay for fuel with Pay an App to speed on through. Ooh, yeah. Feels good. Use it at your local participating Caltex.
As a small rural school, obviously travel is an issue for us. We compete often in the Waikato competitions, and so anything that gives us an opportunity to provide sporting chances to our students is very welcomed.
We are very grateful for the funding. It's going to help a lot of our students here at Tikuti High School, especially one of our students, Callum Headley. He has made the New Zealand Kia Ora team.
Callum making the New Zealand team is great for Callum and for the school, but it also provides that impetus for other students coming through to see that you can come from a small school and achieve great things.
We are very grateful to have it because it helps us out a lot with our travel and accommodation to all our tournaments.
All of those essential things that he needs to be paid for. The biggest thing is helping his parents.
And that's thanks to support that we get from Callum Fund.
A big thank you to Apollo Projects for providing the funding.
It's really helped our kids to have more opportunities.
Gaining the extra funding really goes a long way to providing opportunities.
We are low on the socioeconomic index, so our students haven't got $200 when we're going away for these trips.
Students often miss out on opportunities because of the financial commitment.
More often than not, the student has to give up their sport.
With the funding from Apollo Projects, we've been able to lower travel costs to allow more students to participate in secondary school competitions.
Your generosity has enabled us to enable these students to be able to play in these sports, be able to just be the best versions of themselves.
We're really grateful, and I cannot express that enough about how and what it means to us.
Don't pick on Dave. Kia ora koutou. Welcome back to last game of the day for the New Zealand Ultimate Secondary School Championships here. We're watching the Open Division has just restarted between Selwyn College and Hutt Valley High School. Selwyn College are in the red at the moment with possession of the disc, playing from left to right. Hutt Valley are on defence, putting in their press again.
Oh, that's a lovely hammer throw, but nicely intercepted by Hutt Valley High School. Very hard to make that throw into the wind by any player. So very bold of, I don't know who did that, but very bold of that young man. Hutt Valley High School with the wind at their back, starting off the second half. Looking to take advantage of that and nail the point. And perhaps getting it off that sideline. Yes, okay, they managed to score the point. Luca Mitchell throwing it to... I think it was Ben Cobra. No, it was Harry Cobra, sorry. Against that far sideline. Very difficult to score in a position like that. It's always tempting to sort of just jam it into that little box. Hard to do. As coaches, we will generally try and encourage the players to centre that disc, give yourself more options. However, they didn't listen to me that time, and they managed to score. So good on them. 9-2. I think it's another 6 minutes till soft cap. We'll explain a bit how that works when we get closer to it. And for those of you that are aware, where's those referees? I can't see any referees on that in that field. What's going on? How does that work? It's an interesting game with no referees. It's up to the players. Players take responsibility to make the calls. To make the calls about whether you're fouled, if someone hits you on or pushes you out, or if the disc is in or out. It's up to the players to make those calls. The two players concerned, they can ask other players for their perspectives. They can even ask people on the sideline for their perspective, but it's actually up to the players to make a decision. If they can't make a decision, the play will just go back to the previous play. So it'll go back to the previous pass.
Even on the international stage, they have game advisors who will be there, but they're not umpires or referees. They're just there to share their knowledge of the rules.
Yes, share their knowledge of the rules and perhaps give them their advice about what happened or not, but it's still up to the players to make the decisions. And I love that as a parent. It teaches respect and self-responsibility for the players. And I've seen players come from other sports, and I've seen them play other sports, and they are... I've seen certain players over the years. Is that the hooter after 45 minutes? What's going on there?
Sounds like it.
Did sound like it.
Sounds like a soft cap.
Yeah. Oh, we started late. Okay, we started 5 minutes late, so our time is up.
Because the game before ran a little bit over.
That was a lovely defensive play by, who was that? Atticus Itty. Well done, Atticus, getting up in the air, timing his jump in the air perfectly, and getting over the top of the Hutt Valley High School player on that particular occasion. So nice defence. Couldn't quite sort of take advantage of that though. Hutt Valley High School with position again, going into the wind. Nice defence again. That time by Jamie Krask.
I like Selwyn's hustle.
Yes, they are. They're hustling very well, aren't they?
Yeah, it's not quite always paying off, but at this stage of the game, after a lot of ultimates being played, a lot of tukus, a lot of turnovers, they've still got their head up and they're still going for it.
They are. That was a good piece of work there by Sahab Mohammed on the sideline, pulling that disc down, keeping his feet in. Let's look at that replay actually. Look at him cut all the way across to the sideline, fooling his player, running a fake, then catching the disc, being totally going long, catching that disc, grounding himself, and then seeing the open player out there in the middle, Devon Redaway, scoring the point. Often we'll see with new players, they'll do a fantastic catch and immediately try to throw the disc and throw it away. So that was a good Sahab, good head on him there to actually catch the disc, think about it, see the open player, and then make the throw. Milliseconds in it between being too hasty and getting the timing right. So that must be this soft cap now. I haven't seen the signal from the field, so I'm not sure if that's game to 11. I guess we'll see that very soon. Hutt Valley High School putting that disc down there with the wind. Hopefully the game finishes before those shadows cross the field. Hutt Valley High School looking to convert this close to the end zone. And eventually seeing the open player, Darren Leishman to Ori Hoskin.
And I think that's it.
That is it?
Yep, I think that's final. Hutt Valley High School 11, Selwyn College 2. But I still think both teams displayed some awesome ultimate.
I agree with you. I like the attitude of the Selwyn team actually. Never had their heads down. They are always hustling, always looking for the opportunity to score. In this particular case, Hutt Valley High School, too many sort of experienced players with better skill, with good skills, that managed to sort of take advantage of the wind.
A great game. Well, they'll sit down now for the Spirit Circle and they'll have a chat. Each team will decide most valuable player, most spirited player. Actually, they'll be tallied up. There'll be an award for the most spirited player and MVP at the end of the tournament.
There will be, yes.
All right, well, that's it from us. It's been an awesome day here of Ultimate at down in Taupo. Ka kite anō, and we'll ka kite apopo. We'll see you tomorrow.
Thank you.